Hey everybody out there, this is SCL0320. I'm more stable now. Just really wanted to make another video where I'm not so just off the hype, not so much off the emotion of what happened last night, even though it's beautiful. I really wanted to be in the right perspective and really give y'all a really good review. Three things I'm gonna go ahead and point out straight out. On the sole basis that it's the most important. First off, Smallville in its entirety is all about Clark Kent becoming Superman. Not just like we see in Superman or just seeing it at the end. No, it's his whole revelation from the point where he saved Lex to the point at the end of last night's episode. That's what it's been about. And with that, no flights, no tights. That's what they promised from the beginning. We got that. We got the flight. We got him actually in the tights. Did we get a full-fledged, like him in the suit and everything? Yes and no. We got CG shots of him in the full outward perspective. I can understand Tom Welling, he really didn't want to fill those shoes. Because everybody, if they saw him in the suit and they made him like a glorified Superman, they'd want him to continue that role forever. I don't blame him, in all honesty. We got to see what we got to see. And I'm proud of him for even at the end, what happened. Number two, Lex. We got the return of Lex Luthor. Michael Rosenbaum's Lex Luthor. Not like at the end of season 7, he died. Like it was it. It was no more of his character. He said he was not coming back. I hoped that he would, but all we got were teasers. We got him for a second getting blown up, and it's really not even him. At the end, we got him. We got 3. We got almost everybody coming back except for Lana Lang. Everybody that fits into the mold and the mythology of Superman. They fixed the mythology. They even fixed the whole aspect of how Lex and Clark could be in the same universe, and how Lois and Clark could be in the same universe. They fixed it. Like they perfected it. Like Lex, it wouldn't have worked if Lex had known who Clark was. Like it wouldn't. Even though he loves him like a brother, he would have eventually killed Clark. It was just, it's in him. Like he can't understand what he's doing is wrong. He killed his own sister, so of course he would kill Clark. He would. So it was needed. With the whole Lois thing, I predicted this. They let go of their need for each other so Clark can do what he has to do, but at the same time, she grounds him. She makes him emote. She allows him to feel, even though he's saving the world. And they have a secret wedding 7 years later. I mean, it all fits in line. We got everybody back from Annette O'Toole, Martha Kent. We got John Snyder is Jonathan Kent. Like we got everybody. We got Chloe. We got Lex. We even got Lionel. We got seeing glimpses of Darkseid. We got everything that we really wanted in the essence of the whole ending of the series, without continuing to anything else. Because say if they had, hypothetically speaking, showed a full-fledged fight between Darkseid and Clark. Say if they showed him in full outfit while fighting that, would you honestly want the series to end? I know I wouldn't. I couldn't. I was like, why would you show me that? Like, I don't think people get that. But I really wanted to express all those things before I even got into my first part of my review. I'm going to be making this into 2 parts. And I'm going to be very specific with a lot of different things. I'm going to try to keep them under 15 minutes if I can, each. But yeah, I really had to express those 2 things, because so many people would say, well, what's about the suit? What about Lex? And just be happy, y'all. Like, if y'all got everything y'all wanted, y'all would not want this series to end. This is about Clark progression to be Superman, not the series about Superman. This is not called Metropolis. This is Smallville. Anyway, the beginning of the episode falls off based off of what happened last episode in Prophecy, with Oliver digging up the gold kryptonite, being possessed by the darkness, and Lois saying that she did not want to marry Clark. And what happens is Clark tells her, look, I want you in my life. You're part of this whole evolution I'm making to move on. I need you to move on with me. Like, I love you. I know you're my future. I've seen it. I've seen my future. And I'm willing to let go of everything so we can do this life in Metropolis. And she says no. Like, every life that you don't save is because of me. I can't be in that way of that. I won't stand in the way of that. And so he just keeps on going, being very persistent about it. And she tries to pull out all the stops. She tries to call out the wedding. She tries to text people. She tries to do everything. He just stops her at every moment. He said, you're going to have to leave me at the altar to not marry me. Like, you're going to have to. Eventually, Chloe talks to her and says, look, Clark needs you. Like, he needs you in his life. Like, just read what he has to tell you at the altar. And so she read his notes, and she was captivated by him. And she came to the realization that even though his destiny is far greater than her, she needs him. He needs her imperfection. He needs her love to maintain his stability. And she didn't really grasp that until reading his notes. But while this is happening, Clark went back to the farm, and he talked to his mom. And his mom was like, why are you selling the farm? And Clark, he said to her, I need to let this go. I need to, like, move on so I can be this man that the people need me to be. And she said, well, you can be that man, but you can't let go of what made you to that point, or you're going to forget everything. She was brought to tears into thinking that Clark really didn't understand, and he was so gung-ho. He so was disrespecting to his mother and said, look, you need to let go of Jonathan. You need to let go of this farm. You need to just let it all go. And he ain't thinking, like, you're who you're supposed to be because of her. How are you going to tell her? And I can understand, like, him wanting to be a man and all. I mean, he's going to be Superman, but listen to her. Like, try. He wasn't. So he went off, and I think she struck a nerve because he went to Jonathan's grave. And before that happened, Martha, while she was looking, like, there was a spirit that came up, and it was Jonathan. And he was, like, saddened by what was Clark's dealing with. And he went to the grave, and as Clark was talking to the grave, like, spirit showed up again. And it was basically saying, look, like, you can rest on me. Like, even though I'm not here, even though you need to be this man, like, you don't have to forget about me. You don't have to let this place go. Like, you embody the essence of this town. Like, you saved this town. And you were our miracle. And he didn't understand it. He couldn't see him because he was so gung-ho about trying to let him go. And eventually Oliver pops up. And Oliver tells him, look, like, you can do this, Clark, but you don't need to just let everybody go. And Clark starts doubting again. He starts doubting the actual belief that maybe him and Lois don't need to be together either. And even though Clark, he knows what he needs to do, it's easier for him to let go of everybody, basically. So he walks away. He tries to go see Lois, and he basically talks to her and says, well, maybe you're right. And she is, at this point, she's believing that she needs to marry him. But she's adamant about it. And she's surprised by what he says, and he tosses him her vows, and he reads them. And he's very quiet when he does, so she's very scared that he may be about to reconsider. And he comes to the understanding that even though she's imperfect, even though he has a greater destiny than her life, he needs her. He needs to remember her. He needs her in his life to be who he needs to be, just like he needs his family. And I think he gets a real revelation from that. And she asks him, are you still there? And they touch hands through the doors so she's not to see him, not to spoil the wedding. And he says, I'm here. And eventually they fast forward to the wedding. Chloe and Oliver are preparing. Oliver seems like something's up with him. And sure enough, he had met with the 3 disciples of Darkseid. And they say that basically, look, you need to take him out. Use this ring that's made of gold kryptonite. Make sure it's on his hand. I was scared. They got to the wedding, and weird thing, it was Clark went up there. I was like, what is it ever that bridesmaids, family, everybody goes out and there's no groom up there? What the heck is that? Because I saw Martha there, and she was there by herself, and then Spirit of Jonathan's still there, like watching over her. It's really cool. But what happened was Lois actually shows up, starts walking down the aisle, and all of a sudden she's like, "Where's my groom?" This cat walks up next to her, grabs her hands, walks up with her. Amazing, beautiful. I was like, I probably would do that at my wedding too. But I don't know, I have to wait. Anyway, get to the point where they walk up and they say their vows to each other, and they're about to finally like put the rings and solidify it. Oliver gives them the rings, and Chloe's looking, and she's like, that don't look right. And sure enough, she looks, and that looks like kryptonite. She goes, pow, pops it up into the air, and she goes and says to like Clark, or she tells everybody, run, get out of there. And Clark tells everybody the same. All of a sudden, like, Oliver's eyes is pitch black, and he knocks Clark out of the window. And Lois, her stupid self, tries to do something about it. She gets flung, and Clark runs back through the window and runs and catches her in time before she hits anything, luckily. And he speeds her out of there, first of all, probably a mile away, and then comes back. And he confronts Oliver. It's a pretty decent fight. It's pretty epic. But Oliver, he's inhabited by the darkness, and so he has strength of Clark almost, but the abilities of himself, and it's just crazy. He gets to the point where it's an even fight, but Clark gives up. He stops. He says, "Look, I trust you that you will do this. You can beat this. Like, you are my hero. Like, I trust in you as a brother. Like, you can make it through this. This thing will take my powers away forever. But I believe that you're stronger enough to actually stop this. Can you dare to do that?" And Oliver's like confronted with this, and all of a sudden he stops. He takes it in his hand and he crushes it. All of a sudden the darkness moves the veil from his head, and he's back. And it's just so awesome to have him just have redemption from just Clark, like trusting him like that. That's true trust. Like Clark, that's his main problem. It's not trusting and putting faith in people. He learned how to do that. It's so cool. After that point, Clark he goes back to, I think, where Lois is, which is in the Daily Planet, trying to figure out where Tess is, because Tess got captured by Lionel. He talks to Lois and asks him where she's at, and Lois really doesn't know. She thinks that she's probably at the mansion, I think, where they find out. But what was really going on, Lionel was actually trying to bring Lex back from the dead. And he needed one last organ to do it. What Lex had planned, actually, after all this time, he's going to use all the clones to take the best pieces out of each one and put it in one big clone. And the only thing was just like, he needed an organ, a heart. And he was going to use Tess. He's like, basically, well, you are of value, but you're expendable. So this is crazy. And they tied her down, and she fought her way out of it. And she eventually gets a gun and shoots Lionel straight in the chest. He's dying. She gets away. He opens up this compartment where Lex's new body is, and all of a sudden, like, Darkseid appears. He says, "You turned me down before, but are you willing to do anything to save your son, even get rid of your soul?" And at that point, he said yes. Darkseid takes his soul, takes his heart out at the same time, and basically he starts to bring Lex back to life. Now, at this point, Clark, he's with Lois. He kisses her goodbye, says, "I gotta do this." And then he heads to the Luthor Mansion where he thinks like Tess is. And sure enough, they get there, and the most epic thing happens. He sees Lex Luthor for the first time in, I don't know how long, 4 or 3 years. I'm going to continue the next part of this review in a second, just because it was so epic. Everything after that point is just crazy. So, here it is. I'll be one back.